This is probably also going to end up being the introduction video for the Shapeshifting playlist. So just keep that in mind. But what I'm doing right now is for just the individual creature itself, what it is, and really that's the perfect introduction anyway. So basically, what is the truth versus what is the myths? There's, I'd say, more myth out there than truth, because there are so many different folklore things out there that just want to twist this around. And really it depends on who you are asking as to does this exist. The people that practice more modern paganism believe that this is, a creature that probably exists, in the dream realm and stuff, but most definitely in the spirit realm. But they see only a small bit of the picture. And ancient paganism, what I teach, sees what we forgot long ago from our ancestors, all of that magic that it was lost. It kind of brings that back. And our ancestors would say that yes, you can physically shapeshift. Actually, I was a gigantic skeptic to stuff like this at one point, and so I don't judge you if you're also a skeptic. I actually had to be shown proof, not only shown proof of it, but I actually had to be told by several different people, that this was possible. Really, the one that did it for me, the one that really broke that skepticism, was the first one who ever told me, because I was too young to even know what it meant, and that's when I was being told it. So I didn't even know what it meant. I didn't have any, let me put it this way, he didn't have any reason to tell me what I wanted to hear, because I had absolutely no idea it existed. I was that young. He went by the name Walking Crow, but I understand probably more than one person has that name. So if you look him up, you don't know for sure if you got him or a different Walking Crow. But he was belonging to one of the very few tribes, at least in the United States, who still believe in the physical shapeshifting. Once you've not only experienced something like that, but had someone told you that you're not the only one that believes in it, it just kind of pushes that door wide open. So basically, the truth of it is, when you think of the theatrics and stuff, I want to get that out of your head, because the truth of it is not that at all. There's nearly nothing that matches it exactly in terms of all the movies and things like that. The spell way, where it's, some kind of sinister spell that not only makes you do bad things, but makes other people do bad things when you bite them. It turns them into these sinister monster creatures. That, I tell you right now, that spell, I won't rule out that there's not a spell somewhere maybe that can turn someone into a shapeshifter who wasn't born like that, but typically you have to be born as a shapeshifter, or you're not going to be able to shapeshift. That being said, that kind of spell that is with that much ill intent, you're taking an innocent and you're making them kill or harm other innocents, and it's a vicious cycle because it's infectious. I mean, that would be nearly impossible just because of the way that the universe, just the natural laws of the universe and the natural laws of nature, it would go against that too harshly. It'd be nearly impossible for it to even exist at all, much less, even if it did exist, someone actually being able to achieve that would be just flat out impossible. So those kind of spells, no. But if you have some kind of sacred permission type spell, maybe. But there's a lot of if this, if that, if this, if that, that would go on to add complications. Like I said, typically you're either born like that or you're not. If you're born like that, there's certain ways to find out, and it's not what you might think. I'm a shapeshifter, and I used to think, okay, if anyone could, it would be me. But the problem was that back when I had skepticism, that gift was kind of turned off. It was kind of dormant, temporarily dormant. A gift like that asks so much of you, that asks for so much strength and power and dedication and perseverance. I mean, if you're not mind, body, soul completely balanced, it just cannot happen. If you try anyway, you could actually seriously injure your body. But usually absolutely nothing happens, because it's there for a purpose. It's dormant for a purpose. You're not ready. If you did it anyway, it would kill you, probably. So if not, at least hospitalize you. If there was nothing to stop it from happening before you were ready, that's kind of what will happen, because you have to have all your chakras extremely, extremely strong. You have to have your entire soul, extremely, extremely strong. You can't have anything, any kind of, even one chakra out of whack. What will happen is you start to shift and you get to that one chakra, and then it'll start paining you. True shape-shifting should not actually hurt, but it might feel uncomfortable, but it shouldn't actually hurt. What happens, it feels like you've got Novocaine all over your body. It starts tingling and numbness, and then again it might feel a little uncomfortable, but as long as your chakras are balanced, you're not going to feel any actual strong pain or anything. Really, what you can shift into, again, don't put science where it shouldn't ever be. This is magic. Magic doesn't go by the laws of logic. It goes by the laws of magic. So it really is, what could possibly you shift into? In one way, it's unlimited, but in another way, it's very limited, because you can only shift into what your soul represents. So if that's not part of your soul, like say if my soul doesn't have wolf in it, then I can't shapeshift into a wolf. But if it has rabbit, then I can shapeshift into a rabbit. You see what I'm saying? So your soul has to be at least part that. You really don't get to choose what you shapeshift into. That being said, there's nearly no boundary, big or small, of what it could be, as long as your soul has that within it. If I don't have said, different creature in my soul, then I can't. It's not about the shape, just taking the shape of something. It's about becoming that something. You can't become something that you are not. So essentially, it's whatever's in your soul that is being brought to the surface. And I won't rule this out, because it is possible that you can be kind of a hybridized thing of different, like say your soul is this, that, and this. Then you can actually shapeshift into a hybrid of those different things. So you can sometimes combine it into one. Like say for example, it's wolf, dragon, and goat. And yes, I do include the mythical creatures, and because not really as mythical as we'd like to think. So if it's wolf, dragon, goat, then perhaps you've got the body and the head of the wolf, the dragon's wings, the goat's horns. Perhaps your totemic magic, you've got all three there, totemic wise. Maybe the wolf is the strongest, and maybe the goat is the second strongest, and maybe the dragon is the third, or maybe they're equal. But you're going to have some sort of totemic magic from each. So it's kind of interesting that, so I had someone ask me one time, is it possible that I'm not joking. Someone actually asked me this specific, is it possible that I have two tails? And I'm sitting here thinking, well, yeah, because if you can shapeshift into anything, including a mythical creature, if you happen to be a mythical creature instead of just a regular old animal, then if that's part of your soul and that mythical creature has two tails, then of course you could. They were doing some kind of visionary to see in the dream realm what they looked like. They thought they might be a shapeshifter, but they weren't sure. And they said, I think I'm some sort of cat creature, and this is weird, but I think I have two tails. So don't rule anything out. But basically, a lot of people will tell you through very narrow-minded, even the people who believe in physical shape-shifting, will have this ridiculous narrow-minded, oh, you can't shapeshift anything larger than you or smaller than you. It's magic. It's your soul, not your body. It's your soul that's doing all that shifting and making your body into something else. Physically, yes, your body changes physically. But what is responsible for that? Not just the physical body, but the soul is responsible for that shift. So to think that mass matters is ridiculous. To think that there's some kind of repercussion from it is also ridiculous, as long as you don't do it with pure intent. And like I said, as long as you are completely 100% balanced in all your chakras. Really, there's not much that can harm you with doing this. It's when people try to force it. Okay, so basically, just the last little bit, how do I tell? Well, I'll talk about this a little bit later on, but one of the biggest signs that you might potentially have this, or at least be the soul. Maybe you don't have the physical ability to shapeshift, but maybe part of your soul is not human. Part of your soul is something other than human. Well, if part of your soul is something other than human, you will know, because typically, if you try to go out there and practice what I was talking about with the hearing the voices of nature, you'll be able to hear it through telepathy, not just a general sense, but through telepathy. A long time ago, we used to shapeshift for battle, for war. Nowadays, it's for a variety of different reasons. Some people that shift, once they shift, they never go back to human. Other people will go back and forth and have one foot in the human world and one foot in nature. It is extremely rare magic because you do have to be so balanced. And nowadays, most people, even if they have the potential, a lot of them can't. The potential to learn, they currently can't because of that imbalance. If you become too imbalanced for too long, you can actually lose that gift completely, and your soul is still part animal, but you can no longer shapeshift. I've met a lot of animal souls, but not many actual shapeshifters. Typically, even in your human form, you're going to have heightened senses, maybe stronger than you should be. The mannerisms, sometimes even, of whatever your alternate form is. And even the thought process. You're born with a different thought process a lot of times. You kind of think like whatever your alternate form is, and you don't really think like a human. There is an urge to be free, in the forest instead of the way that people live inside a house. People who have shapeshifted in dreams, that will tell you at least have an animal soul, but it won't tell you for sure whether or not you're a physical shapeshifter. A lot of times you even have kind of the instincts of that alternate form. Like, for example, if you're some kind of predator, then you see something running away from you and you just want to chase it, And I'm not saying this to be funny, I'm actually being quite serious. If you sat there and said, nope, don't recall, can't relate whatsoever, then you're not one. If anything I said you might potentially relate to, then you need to look a little deeper into that to find out the answer.